One of the most important rules you should know when you are making your shot list is the 180 rule. But what is it? Let's talk about it. What's up friends, the Nerdy Filmmaker here, and today we are talking about the 180 rule. This is a rule that a lot of people know exists, but they don't necessarily know how best to follow it or what it actually does when you break it. So the point of the 180 rule is to help maintain consistent eye lines throughout your scene between your characters. Unless someone is looking directly into the camera, they are either looking frame right or frame left. And the 180 rule helps keep that consistent so that the two actors look like they're actually talking to each other. But if you accidentally break the 180 rule, what happens is that both of your characters will be talking in the same direction, which kind of breaks that connection between them. And it's very important to maintain that in order to help situate where the actors are within the scene. So what is the 180 rule? Well, it can actually be very simple. It does change a little bit depending on how many actors you have and how they're facing each other, if they're facing each other. But let's take the simplest, most common setup. Two characters are facing each other. They could be standing, they could be sitting, one could be standing, one could be sitting, it doesn't really matter. The point is they are two actors facing each other. All you need to do is draw a straight line between those two characters. You can do this either in your mind, or you can do it on a piece of paper if you're drawing out, let's say, a bird's eye view of your scene in order to help situate your shots, what kind of shots you want to put in. And once you draw that line between the two characters, choose one of those two sides and don't pass over to the other side. As long as you stay on that same side, one of the actors will always be looking to the right and one of the actors will always be looking to the left. If ever you cross over to the other side of that line, you've flipped the axis and now their eye lines are reversed. The easiest way just to remember that on set is to not cross over to the other shoulders of the actors, all right? So as soon as you go behind an actor, if you start to cross over to the other side of their shoulder, you've effectively flipped the axis. It doesn't matter how little you go past it. Now let's say you have two actors that are sitting side by side. It works the same way. If you draw a line passing through those two actors, if you cross over that line, then you are flipping the axis. So if they're sitting side by side and you keep the camera in front of them, then you should be entirely fine. But as soon as you start to go behind them, that axis will flip. Now, like all rules, they can be broken as long as you know that you're doing it and you're actually planning accordingly. How can you break the 180 rule? Let's say you do want to flip over to the other side and see the other side of the room. The first way is with camera movement. If within a single shot, if the camera moves from one side of the 180 to the other, then you are effectively flipping the axis, but not doing it in a disjointed way. That can be done with a slider, if you're handheld, or if it's on a gimbal, or whatever. As long as there's movement from one side of the axis to the other within a single shot, you are comfortably flipping the axis. The second way is if there's character movement. If a character gets up and moves to another location, then all of a sudden, not only is that 180 changing, but you're probably changing your entire shot list because now you're in a new setup. At which point you can toss everything out and start afresh. Another way that you can try that is a bit trickier, but might potentially work, is to cut to a master shot. And if that master shot is establishing new eye lines, it becomes a little less disjointed. It's really those close-ups and those medium shots where we would see the flip of axis a little bit too clearly. Now, maybe some people would disagree with that. I guess that's up to taste. I think I've done it before. No one complained, so. Lastly is to cut away from people altogether if you have insert shots. So if you have something within the room, a detail within the room, or even a detail of someone manipulating something. Let's say you cut to a mug and someone picks up the mug and brings it to their mouth and you're following that mug, then just by cutting away from the people looking at each other, cutting away from the eye lines, that's gonna help reset all the eye lines and is potentially a good moment for you to flip over to the other axis. Now the last tip that I have, which is something that I mentioned before, is that when you're making your shot list, it really does help to create kind of like a bird's eye view, a plan of the scene. And within that, you can draw your line and establish where all your shots are gonna be so that when you're going on set, you know all of your angles are obeying that 180 rule. Now, eye lines do get more complicated when you add in more than two actors. And if you're interested in that, I can cover that in a future video. If that's what you'd like to see, leave a comment and I'll see what I can do. That's it, friends. I hope this was helpful. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. And I'll see you in the next one. Camera off.